From the creators of Continuum Force comes a spine-tingling horror audio fiction, Vampires of Whitechapel. Come into the world of Ariana Grayson, an FBI agent who tracked down the serial killer Alistair the Annihilator, only to discover he is a real vampire, sired by the infamous Jack the Ripper, and he has been hunting her. Vampires of Whitechapel, available on Apple Podcasts, Google, and wherever else you listen to your favorite audio fiction podcasts.
Welcome back to We Never Learned the Rules. In this, our 10th episode of our Call of Cthulhu campaign, Masks of Nyarlathotep. We are joined today by Evan and Anna Johnson, who are playing Ronie McMurray and Trixie Carnahan. I am Brendan O'Toole, your keeper. And this episode is going to be a little bit different, as we are going to be kind of doing a time jump 4 years into the future.
Ooh.
Yep. Well, actually, we're going to be playing through the time jump, so we're going to get to experience little snippets of what life was like.
Or are we going to do a really, really long episode?
Yeah, it's going to be, we're starting now. 4 years later, when it's 2025, we will begin the next portion of this series.
Get comfortable,
folks. We will
folks.
be playing it through in real time.
Suddenly, I was awake. I walked downstairs, make some coffee. This is the first day of the rest of my life.
I grab one shoelace. I grab the other shoelace. I cross them over each other.
This is riveting podcasting.
It's the best way to podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So it might be a little awkward as we just go through this, but we kind of want to figure out what happens during these 4 years. So let's go ahead and bear with us. Yeah, let's get started. All right, last episode, you guys made it back to America after completing the Peru arc of Masks of Nyarlathotep. You guys ended that after burning Kyle, your producer, going insane and eating the faces off some of your fellow employees. And you met a woman named Sophia Anderton, who works for some secretive, shadowy organization in the government, and is also a U.S. Marshal, and had you destroy the footage that took so many lives from Peru. And this is kind of where we're going to get started. The two of you, Ronie and Trixie, Jackson has spent the past few weeks talking to his publisher while the two of you work on the editing the recordings that you doctored and then gave back to Borderline News, the only footage that exists of your time in Peru.
Anymore.
Yes,
Yep.
That is correct. God. Yep. Much to Ronnie's disappointment. How does Ronie take all of that? The fact that it's gone and he's kind of working to not really reveal the truth to the world.
Yeah, he's not super pleased about it, but like he, for the time being, is continuing his employment with Borderline, but kind of like repressing a lot of opinions, feelings, and just kind of like showing up to work and like in whatever creative aspects of this story or future stories, he kind of takes a backseat to Trixie. And it's just there, sort of.
Yeah, we've all had coworkers like that at some point or another, or if you're still in school, classmates who don't do all the work on the group project.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of your time over the next few months are spent in the editing bays at Borderline News as other teams are sent out to start recording things again. All previous footage except for this project having been lost, with pretty much all of the company's attention being focused on your show at the moment.
And like with people like who are working with me, I'll like be like, as we're like, we hit a point in the process where we're editing and building this story to be like released as I assume like a video, right?
Yeah, it's going to be video format. They're going to be, if we had to have a show kind of to compare it to, let me pull them up really quick. Just, I forget the name. I think it's BuzzFeed Unsolved Mysteries.
Okay.
Yeah, that style of BuzzFeed Unsolved Mysteries. Except this is Unsolved Mysteries Supernatural.
Ooh.
Which is what they also make.
Yeah. But Ronie, he will during this working, he'll ask people who weren't even there or know anything about it, be like, what do you think should happen next?
He's asking the production assistants and the people bringing the coffee.
What do you think would be a good story? He says with a level of sass.
Yeah, I'm assuming some HR complaints are getting filed against Ronie, not for any sexual issues, but just kind of just being a hostile work environment to be around him.
Very unpleasant. He's very unhappy at this moment in his life.
So yeah, as the months pass, ads start going out on TV, as this is going to be a cable show. You're working on several 45-minute episodes, like a 5 or 6 episode miniseries that's going to be released and kind of being promoted as a big prestige drama, and everyone's talking about it.
Ronie at night goes out and just vandalizes those signs every once in a while.
Yeah, and it's actually starting to become a problem because there are people who film you doing that with their iPhones and their Androids. You've been called to speak to the HR department a few times about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ronie, we just can't have you doing this.
Oh, my bad. I forgot about the last time you told me.
That was yesterday, Ronie.
Oops, I'm so absent-minded. As I take out a cigarette to smoke it.
You can't do that here. It's just...
Are we done here? I'll see you tomorrow.
He already knows. He's walking out the door. They're like, wait, what are you doing tonight? Not again.
So Trixie, during this time, Jackson, he's definitely been contacting you. How do you see that going and playing out?
So soon after getting back and, after the initial craziness, the first couple weeks of getting things under production and everything, and things sort of calmed down a bit, Trixie, definitely reaches out back to Jackson, and they both have to do some traveling and have pretty crazy jobs, but
Jackson's kind of on a pause. He's working on a book at the moment, doing some research, so he's in New York for the next few weeks, but I imagine he probably asks Trixie out to dinner and dancing and stuff fairly regularly.
And Trixie has sort of tried to a New Year's resolution, if you will, has sort of tried to take steps towards having there be more in her life than just her job, because it really has been that way for so long. She even gets a plant that needs water in her apartment and that sort of thing. So she definitely enters into this relationship with Jackson.
Yeah.
Do you have is your iPhone background of you two kissing your lock screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is a big step.
Which I see that at work and it infuriates me.
Did Trixie change her Facebook status to in a relationship?
She did.
Yeah.
Shit was getting real.
Yeah, Jackson will just text you maybe sometimes while you're in the middle of editing, just thinking of you, heart.
And Trixie has used the smiley face emoji with the hearts for eyes more in the past couple of months than she has ever in her entire life.
All right.
In the dark editing room where we're working, I assume it's dark or whatever.
Yeah, editing room.
Her phone lights up and I can't help but look. And it's just I just see this relationship blossoming. And I'm just
yeah, your editors, because you guys aren't doing the actual editing, but you're sitting there advising the editors, helping them with decisions, going to meetings, stuff like that. And Trixie, during this whole time, you're noticing Ronnie's getting more and more belligerent and just being more the asshole you know he can be, but in a way you had hoped he would never treat you.
Yeah. So as times are, as time's going on, I sort of like thought maybe it was just a short phase. Like I knew he was upset about how things went down with the footage, but I think it's a phase. And so I'm just sort of like writing it out, waiting for him to like get over it. And I try to sit down and talk with him a few times. And I imagine that doesn't go very well.
Yeah. Like, what do you say to him?
Like,
what is it?
Ronie, we were given this great opportunity. Like, I mean, I thought I was going to be without a job. I thought I was going to be sued. Like, who even knows? But instead, the exact opposite happens. Like, we are promoted. We have this great show. And you're going out at night and vandalizing. Yeah,
like the two posters? Of you are sitting in a restaurant and there is just a great view of New York and kind of off Times Square, if Times Square has a restaurant that views over Times Square. And there's like a billboard of your guys' face and upcoming show on it.
Like, how many mustaches are you going to draw on my face?
I don't even know how you got up there. It's like 3 stories up.
I imagine maybe there were some also like, those like kiosks, and stuff that you would see and posters and subway stations and stuff like.
Yes, exactly. It's getting plastered everywhere.
Even though I assume we're in a restaurant that serves alcohol, I open up my flask like with my own drink on the table and just take a swig and close it up. And I'm like, Ronie, I don't know, probably at least a dozen more.
It was a rhetorical question. Why are you like? What is your deal? Like, I get you're upset about all this, but like, why are you taking it out on me?
Oh, I mean, it's your face, but it's not you. I draw them on everyone's faces. I mean, granted, you're most of them because you're really go along with this, trash TV.
It's not trash TV. We're not.
Another swig.
Ronie, we're not telling the truth. We're just omitting things that could hurt people. Like, where do you see us going from here? Because I can't honestly keep covering for you. Do you know that HR has been talking to me every time? Seriously? Do you know how many times they've wanted to get rid of you, to replace you? They're talking about moving Kyle up in the rankings. I mean, like, I'm glad he's doing better.
Sure. Yeah, whatever. But let him do what he wants. Let them do what they want. You don't even care about... It's been great, Trixie.
Seriously?
I consider you a friend, but...
Everything we went through.
You're not...
Wading through dead bodies.
No, I can't work with someone who doesn't believe in showing the truth.
I've been doing research about the Karotechia. Like...
Okay, hit me up when you're ready to go somewhere.
I don't want to go anywhere with you right now. But maybe if you started researching with me, you would see that there's more here. I'm discovering a lot.
I mean, sure, I need a paycheck, so, I mean, if they fire me and if you want to take me somewhere with you, great, I could use a paycheck, but, I mean, if there's going to be more of this shit, whatever, I'll just tag along.
Dude.
Swig.
You know what? You owe me. Why don't you use your current paycheck and take care of this? And I'm going to down the rest of my drink, set it back down, grab my purse, and just get up and walk out.
Yeah, and that's kind of how the relationship has devolved between Ronie and Trixie at the moment. As it gets closer and closer to release, it just gets worse. And when the episode comes out, there's a big launch party. I assume, Ronie, that you don't actually go.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, you're just out in your van under the news, under the office while everyone upstairs is partying.
I can hear it.
Yeah. Bomb, 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 bomb.
I like to move. Is that the one you were doing?
No, it wasn't, but that's funny. I was just doing some random beat.
Yeah.
It's very close to that song. It's like famous from like what, Madagascar or something.
Yeah.
I'm fairly sure it was famous before that,
Well,
but
yeah.
yes, that's where I know it from.
That's where I know it from.
Showing our age.
Right.
So yeah, obviously Jackson is there, Trixie, and as after the showing and everything of the first episode, I imagine the two of you kiss and stuff, and he pulls you aside. So it's been great, and I want to keep doing this. I just wanted to tell you I'm going to be gone for the next few weeks, maybe a month or so. I've got an investigation that I'd really like to look into, and I'm going to have spotty service, but I'll try to reach out as best I can.
No, okay. I mean, I'm super busy here, and like.
No, yeah, you're doing great. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I'm proud of you too. It'll be fine. Yeah, we'll just reach out whenever
we'll
you've
talk
got the time.
as soon as possible, and then when I get back, we can, plan more things.
Okay, yeah, like I totally like have a plant now that I'm taking care of. So like
I love Alfred too,
I'm booked up. Alfred will miss you.
and I'll miss you. And but let's just enjoy tonight and make it the best we can.
And they have a good night. It rivals when they join the Mile High Club.
I like to move it. I like to move it.
That's the song that they play.
Yep. Yeah, so Trixie, you find yourself after 3 or 4 months of really hard work, kind of without something immediately to do, as the bulk of your effort is largely over with, and you and Ronie are called into Declan's office, and so the two of you, it's a great show. The numbers are through the roof. It's exactly what we wanted. I want you to give me something just as spectacular, but you're probably going to have to find this for yourself, this next little series. But Ronie and Trixie on the spot, it's been a big hit.
Hooray.
Well, actually, I do have an idea. I've sort of been working on some side research that I think is turning into something.
Do it.
All right. Great.
Carte blanche, do it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, sir. We're really excited, right, Ronie?
It's at this point that I don't say anything. I get up and I put a letter on the table and just leave. And it says, to Trixie and Declan. Is that his name?
Yeah.
And it's my letter of resignation.
Declan opens it. Well, at least he waited until the show was finished. But did you see this coming at all, Trixie?
What is it? I'm gonna reach.
He holds it out.
I sort of snatch it a little, read it really quick. No, what the fuck? What the fuck? I run to the door, and stick my head out, calling down the hall. I already can't see you, but I'm like, what the fuck, Ronie?
I'm just I'll throw a hand up. Not even look at you.
So
but
I still can see you? You're at the end of the hall?
I assume at the end of the hall. And
Okay.
What the fuck? And I just don't even look back. I just give you a what's up in the air.
I'm just gonna turn into the room with this exasperated look, looking at Declan. Does this change anything? Can I still have my job?
No, you were the there's a reason your face has been first and foremost on the advertising campaigns, so no, you're good.
Well, thank you, sir. I will not disappoint you. I still think I can go ahead with this idea even without my partner.
Yeah, we'll find you a good co-host and things will be good.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Of course.
And I will leave flustered.
I want to say that Ronie left a letter in your office specifically and it's like, not going to work for that asshole. If you want a freelancer, hit me up. So I'll work for you working for him.
I stopped by my office on my way out after that meeting, and so I see that right away while the wound is still fresh, and I just crumple it and throw it in the wastebasket.
Yeah.
Oh, you're doing the Iron Man and Captain America. If you ever need me, call me, and just doesn't use the phone for 5 years. Not until aliens invade New York.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So this is is this like a year later?
Yeah, this is roughly a year later. Your relationship with Jackson is still kind of going strong. It's kind of become a lot more jittery as he's out traveling the world. Phone calls aren't as often as they used to be. But things are going good. Yeah, things are good.
So you don't sound super sure about that. So I've definitely delved into my even further, like totally immersed myself in this research
For the Karotechia.
Yeah.
And you do find some really interesting things. There is actually some public knowledge on the Karotechia. They were part of Germany's more occult researches during World War II, and they largely disappeared, save for a few rumors of their survival now and then. And your research largely leads you to Argentina, where it's believed more than a few Nazis escaped by U-boat.
All right. Yeah.
And you get your whole team kind of working on researching Argentina and building paths together and getting a story researched on the Karotechia, because this fits right up your alley and kind of what you're getting paid to do, because this is just an intriguing story that has all the right aspects.
Yeah. And so as I'm, just like just going completely into this, getting completely immersed, like I care less when, Jackson can't talk or whatever. Yeah. Sometimes I have to cancel on him. My plant dies.
Aw. Alfred. No.
Alfred. Yeah, I definitely am completely just sort of getting into this, and I imagine it's about another 6 to 9 months after that year in, when I just sort of amicably break it off with Jackson.
Yeah, and it's kind of a thing where you're both just talking, you decide, I don't know if the relationship's working out, but, I'll talk to you later tonight. Does that work? Yeah.
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 Still friends. It's just there's not enough time.
Yeah.
For everything in the world.
And some of the conversations, it's mostly about the time. It's a little bit about
Jackson is very distracted with his research right now.
Yeah, as am I. And then of course it's sort of I something I don't really share with Jackson, but is sort of another sort of sub thing here is I secretly do wish that at least one of us could be more there where the other one is. But it's because it's I sort of feel burned by this person, Ronie, that I trusted, who has sort of abandoned me.
Yeah.
And so I'm sort of I need people that will be there for me. And it's not like it's malicious, but Jackson can't be there for me.
Yeah.
So.
And as you get deeper into your research on the Karotechia, you start digging up some really weird stories of outposts and research stations that explode or go missing with no survivors. And you start to really get intrigued. Ronie.
Yes.
After leaving the office, what do you see your character doing?
So Ronie, he's working in the past working with Trixie and seeing her like connect so strongly with Jackson and like feels this like jealousy. Mm-hmm. So he also feels abandoned because it's like we had that fight in the parking garage and he's like, it's clear which side Jackson took. So he like,
and Jackson has tried reaching out to you, but it has largely been ignored, I assume.
It's largely been ignored because it's like, it's just, I assume that it's just going to be him or Trixie speaking through him.
Yeah.
So he's like, no, fuck that. So that day he walks out of the office, he gets in his van and he drives back down to Peru just to, and that's a long trip.
Yeah.
And
he has a lot of time to think.
Yeah. And he goes back out to that place just to like see if he can find any other sort of evidence, right? Like he's just so mad that he lost everything. But lo and behold, I assume he doesn't.
That is correct. The only thing he finds is rumors of a research team from the Miskatonic University poking around Puno talking about the Karasiri a few months back.
Okay. And then is there still gold at the pyramid?
Yeah, you head out to the pyramid and everything's still there. It's been largely untouched. The bodies are not as fetid as they used to be. They are all rotting. There's been no new bodies added since you've left. It's been at least a year since then.
Yeah, so he goes and just gets some more gold.
Yeah, you are largely able to get, let's say, 2,000 Spanish doubloons.
Damn.
Mark that down.
I think Ronie would just use them as bartering tools instead of actually like selling them. God. So it's like each time he uses one, it's like a fun little game. And he also, it's like an excuse to talk to people. Because throughout all this, he's just kind of getting lonely again.
Yeah, after you learn all of that, and you've got the coins, how many did I say? Like 2,000?
I think you said 2,000.
Yeah, it's 2,000.
Where does Ronie kind of go next?
So I think he would probably follow that lead. He's like about that place in Boston.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the Miskatonic University, which is in a small town called Arkham, close by Boston. It's a little south of it, off the coast. And heading to it, kind of a weird New England town. Very picturesque. You get there in the fall, the leaves are turning. Lots of old brownstone buildings and everything. Everything's got a lot of culture, at least for America. I mean, we're not talking like England levels of old, but there's a sense of age and grandeur and mystery here. And as you start researching about the Miskatonic University Library, you just find a lot of weird things about it. A lot of expeditions that have gone missing. A lot of, students who've gone crazy and murdered their dorm mates.
Perfect.
A lot
just kidding.
A lot of weird stuff like that.
So Ronie is kind of in the mindset where he's on his own again, doing his radio show, or, like doing his own research, working towards his memoirs, so he's like, just doing research, trying to find the weirdest shit he can find and kind of like branching out without Trixie.
Yeah. Yeah. I imagine are you like, what sort of stuff are you researching around Arkham?
So I imagine I would start with, I'm still probably obsessed with what happened in Peru. Mm-hmm. But he's definitely like susceptible to rabbit holes.
Yeah. So like, are you
maybe even like what happened in, where was that with the Aurora Borealis stuff?
Oh yeah, that was
that was in Pulaski
Creek.
Yeah, Pulaski Creek near Michigan.
Yeah.
So I start looking more into that too, researching that.
Yep.
And then I assume I kind of just become like, take up somewhat permanent residence in my van in that town.
Were you already?
Yeah. And then I would, I'd go to the library all the time. I'm just kind of like, I know the library.
As you go to the library, you start noticing that there is a deeper library within that is extremely well guarded. It is only, visitors are only allowed into it with ID and after being checked and with like a professor's permission. And you have been unable to get in.
So, okay. So maybe like Ronie really is interested in that shit, right? Obviously it's like, ooh, he's had this thing with the government and just kind of like destroying his evidence, and he wants to get in on those secrets. Part of what's driving him is his suspicion of that, what was her name in the parking garage?
Sophia Anderton,
and like how sketchy he thinks she is. So he's trying to get some like government secrets and assumes maybe they're back there.
Yeah.
So he starts, after a somewhat regular schedule of him being at that library consistently, he starts devising a plan to like sneak back there.
And the thing about Ronie is, though he can be stupid, he is kind of smart. And after enough time, you are able to break in.
It's like that scene from Harry Potter. Like you're walking through the books and like, what's his name with the cat? He's like, hey,
Mr.
here's something.
Yeah.
You're able to break in pretty late at night, and you are able to grab a few books. Through your research and time spent in the library, you kind of get a sense for how the librarians keep track of the books here. Because they're not using the Dewey Decimal System. They're using something older and something they've devised themselves. And you're able to find some history books and grab an older tome off the shelf and some stuff like that before booking it out.
And then so after doing that, I probably don't feel comfortable hanging around. So I'm going to get in my van again and then go to my secret hiding spot in Duluth.
What does the secret hiding spot look like?
It's like a half-mile hike from this like lake that I grew up next to.
The one where you hide all of your secret
and
treasures.
It's like a cave that I've kind of put some old furniture in.
Yeah.
And like...
And how much time do you kind of spend researching these books?
So I would probably spend a lot of time in that cave researching those books and then like going into town, into Duluth, and like trying my best to avoid my family. But, as time goes on and like I've pretty much become a hermit, I kind of like ache for human interaction.
What you are is an old man living down by a van, living in a van
down by the river.
Or maybe like even like my mother, because it was a place I spent time growing up. So like my mother might have been like walking the dogs and notices my van. And I was like, what the hell? Because I've had the same van for so long.
I bought him that van.
That was his first car.
Reading through the history book, you find a lot of stuff that you aren't really familiar with from history, but you're kind of wondering how you've never heard of this. This seems exactly the type of stuff you'd be interested in. You read of a town called Innsmouth that got raided, in 1928 by the 42nd Marine Battalion and the Office of Naval Intelligence. And Innsmouth no longer exists except for some ruins by the sea. And there's talk in the history book of reports of explosions off the coast of Massachusetts during that same time period.
Okay.
Reading the other book, you take some sanity damage.
All right, that's what's up.
Let me tell you how much sanity damage you take. You find a book called The Confessions of the Mad Monk Clithonus. Clithanus. This book is a copy of a original printing in 1674. It's been faithfully transcribed from its original Latin. And it is 400 pages long. It takes you a long time to decipher this. Mm-hmm. And eventually you're able to tell that it is a book about another book. So this monk, Clothanus, he spent a long period of his life studying a book called Al-Azif, Alazif. And it contains lengthy treatises on the sigils of protection and the spawn of some dark god.
Whoa.
And you lose 8 points of sanity. And you feel like, you just might be able to cast a spell. Like, maybe just a little bit of magic in the world. And you feel like you could twist someone to your ends. And go ahead and open up your Discord, because you now can cast the spell Dominate.
Oh my god. Yikes.
That is absolutely terrifying in the hands of Ronie.
And raise your mythos points by 10.
Is that a skill?
Yes. The mythos rating. So that takes you probably about a year and a half, Ronie.
Okay.
From Peru to Arkham to your researches in the cave. Mm-hmm. So, Trixie.
Yes.
Your research into the Karotechia leads you to Argentina, where you find evidence that the Mossad and U.S. agents destroyed all living beings in a town that has been purged from memory and all written records.
Yikes.
And you're filming this with your new co-host, Kyle Whitley.
What?
He's gotten some extensive skin grafts. And, I mean, Trixie, did you ever imagine that, like, we'd be out in the jungles of Argentina hunting Nazis?
What a sentence.
Right. No, Kyle, I didn't. But I gotta say, you've been doing great work lately. I'm really impressed with you. And
thanks.
It is great to see you back on your feet. And
yeah, I'm feeling and he's like rubbing at his extensive plastic surgery. It still doesn't look quite right. He's always going to bear the scars of your accident, but he's taking it with a smile and not letting life take him down too much.
yeah, you have really blossomed under my tutelage, and
thanks. You're just like a mom to me.
Oh.
okay, not that much older than you, Kyle, but the sentiment is very sweet. Thank you.
Thanks, Mom.
Oh my god.
I cringe, but also have been actively trying to be nice to him because, literally his face and the rest of his exposed skin is a constant reminder of the pain I put him through. So I just sort of
And you indirectly led to the death of his previous mother.
Right. Oh, God. This kid's fucked up.
Through conversations with Kyle late at night and stuff, you've learned he didn't have a great relationship with his mom. She kind of got him the job out of pity. She mostly let nannies raise him. But, they were okay.
Cool. Wow. Poor Kyle.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's doing well, I guess. That's good.
Yeah, and as you are researching kind of the death of the Karotechia, you find, reports from the locals that they were trying to summon some dark entity deep in the woods when the Americans and the Israelis came.
Yikes, okay.
And there was no survivors except for a single Israeli who walked out of the forest one day.
Okay, this is just Anna needing some things repeated from my notes really quick. So the Mossad and U.S. agents destroyed, an entire town?
Yep.
People and records? records.
Yes,
people and records.
People and records, and the buildings and everything.
Okay.
But from local records and tales, they were all Nazis.
Oh, the town that was destroyed was all Nazis.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
A Nazi town of Karotekia. It all makes for great television.
Cool.
Declan is extremely happy with all the footage you're getting back. And through this time, how are things with you and Jackson?
So, see, at this point, about how long have we been broken up?
It's probably been a year or so.
Yeah, so probably we're like halfway through the 4 years. No, 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I imagine that maybe, during this time when I'm down in Argentina, maybe something that, Jackson's work actually takes in there. We haven't actually been talking too much about it, but
his work doesn't take him there, but he does make an effort to fly out to you.
Okay. Yeah. So
he misses you.
And so just while he's got that time off or whatever and can spend a few days maybe, and, we go for some drinks and catch up and everything. We decide that maybe we want to give it another go.
Yeah. Just a long distance relationship with more effort put into it.
Yeah. And decide maybe that we will have a sort of a home base back in
New York?
New York, yeah.
Yeah, which I presume would be your apartment.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe we even get a new apartment together, one that's different.
He's very happy with that. Yeah, I'd love to go apartment hunting with you.
Awesome. I just really feel like, I want it to be our place, not just mine. So, and maybe we can get an Alfred II. I haven't really felt right about getting another plant since he left.
We can get all the Alfreds you want.
I thought you'd never say that.
Yeah.
So suddenly we're living in a greenhouse.
Oh man, you got really out of control, huh?
Yeah. The number of plants in the apartment sort of directly translates to Trixie's love life. When it's going well, there's a lot of plants.
All right. You do get you get a text from an unknown number that kind of says, have you found what you're looking for?
I get it.
Yes.
Who is this? I type back.
It just types back parking garage.
I dig around in my desk drawer and I find that business card. And I'm like, I guess I'm going to take this risk. I don't know. I message back, can we meet?
It names a time and a place.
I'll be there.
Okay. Yeah, you meet in a, let's say you meet in the middle of a mall. It's kind of surrounded by hundreds of distracted shoppers. No one's really paying any attention. And before you know it, Sophia comes in civilian clothes, comes up to you. How's your research been going?
You were right. I've been researching a lot. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the show.
Yes. We keep tabs on all of that.
This stuff is crazy. I'm
sure you found things that you haven't released to the public. But I also have a feeling you haven't quite found anything to the same level as Peru.
I mean, you know what? Something tells me that you know a lot of what we experienced in Peru. I mean, I know you didn't watch the footage.
We know enough of what happened.
So that would be pretty hard to top. I mean, so I haven't found I haven't found what I'm looking for yet.
Yeah, I've seen weirder.
Well, I haven't.
Be happy about that and pray you never do. But I have to admit, I've been grooming you.
Grooming me?
Yes.
I'm
the people
not...
I work for, I don't. And she kind of looks around and pulls out a small little device from her pocket and presses a button on it. And as she does that, everyone's phone just kind of stops working correctly here, just kind of a grumble through the mall as just cell signals cut out. Just so I can be sure no one's listening. People like me often end up retired at the... Well, we end up retired by a bullet to the back of the head in the middle of the night. And I am kind of counting on you as an insurance policy.
What exactly does that mean? I'm not too keen on potentially having a bullet in the back of my head.
You don't know enough information to be shot.
Okay. Well, then how am I an effective insurance policy? I mean...
You are someone they are not in control of.
Who's they?
The program has been around since the 1920s. It all started with an invasion of a small town called Innsmouth, and it's been around ever since under a multitude of names. You may have heard of some of them. The Majestic 12, the program. There's conspiracy theories all over the place, but no one knows anything concrete, not unless they're supposed to. And let's just say I have information hidden around that if I'm ever to disappear, you would get the coordinates to, and I'm sure you could make great use of it.
You know, I already have like a job, right?
Yeah, this would put you in the path for either a Nobel Prize or the end of humanity.
Oh.
It's that type of information.
Interesting. Yeah. Do I really have a choice?
No.
That's kind of what I thought. We have to stop meeting like this.
You called me.
I meant what happens when we meet. You keep putting me in these impossible situations. You know, my partner...
Yeah, I live an impossible life.
My partner left.
Yeah, we know that. We've been keeping eyes on him.
Of course you do. How is he?
He's out in the... Well... Do you know Chris Farley?
No.
Van down by the river?
Oh, that Chris Farley.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. It's kind of sad, really, but he's not a threat to anyone out there.
Oh, man. Okay. Is he any part of this?
No, not at the moment.
Okay. Well, I guess thanks for the heads up.
Yeah.
Let's just say I hope you don't end up with a bullet in the back of your head.
I appreciate the thought.
Yeah. Cool. All
so
right.
you've got lunch? Cool. Thanks. And she gets up and leaves.
God damn it. Or is there like a restaurant in this mall?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a food court that you guys are in.
I like pay for her hot dog on a stick.
Yeah. Corn dog.
Yeah.
So, yeah, life continues on. Ronnie.
What up? I mean, sir?
Ronnie, are you in here? You hear a voice at the entrance of the cave. A familiar voice.
Do I recognize it?
Yeah.
It's a familiar voice. Of course
It's
you
your
recognize
ex-wife.
I kind of hide behind a little piece of furniture.
I can see your head, Ronnie.
Rhonda, is that you?
Ronnie. Come on, you don't need to hide from me.
Okay.
Have you been, how long have you been living out here?
Oh, just like a year.
Just like a
Is that
year.
actually how long it's been?
Yeah. It's nearing the end of the 4 years.
I look at the wall with all sorts of tallies and I start counting.
Oh my God.
Ron, you could have come home.
How did you know I was here?
We've known you were here for a while. You aren't that secretive, and there's only one man with a hook for a hand in town.
How did you even know my hand was a hook? That sounds like the MO of someone else.
You were on national television, Ronnie.
Oh, right. God, fucking shit keeps going in my life. So yeah, how are you?
Well, I'm good, but I'm more worried about you. I mean, I've been talking to your parents. They're worried about you. Are you okay?
I'm good. As he says, this is like top lip kind of quivers. I'm great. Yeah. But how are you? How's you found a new man, I heard? That's great.
I mean, Shauna, she's nice.
Oh. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just assumed. I haven't spoken to people in a long time, and this is kind of a lot for me right now. Cool. I'll see you around, I guess, then. Or
She sits down on a rock.
I guess I'll see you right there.
So what have you been doing living out in the cave here alone for so long?
Just working, you know?
Like on what?
Well,
And she's looking around, and I'm assuming your research material is not well hidden.
I have a thing for having the board with the strings and everything.
Yep.
I'm like, well, it's kind of up here.
Yeah.
Are you really interested? Because you were never interested in the past. Well, I guess it just felt like
It doesn't feel like Ronnie would have enough insight to tell that she is concerned about him and is like his mental state, but she is interested just to keep you talking and give you human contact for like potentially the first time in a year.
So yeah, I'll like show her
Yeah.
like what I've been working on, and like I guess quickly spiral into like a bunch of crazy shit. You know, like this place called Innsmouth, like in Boston or near Boston. Like I swear some shit's going on down there, and then like, you know, I did, you know, I came across a few of these books over here, and yeah, I mean,
and I
I'm just
imagine
trying to look for
Ronnie doesn't notice that she's looking more and more concerned this whole time.
No, probably not. Or maybe, well, I don't know. So I'm like, yeah, so I guess, you know, through like an incoherent, like probably 10 minutes or so, I give her like the crash course on all the bullshit I've been doing.
Ronnie, are you okay?
Yeah. I mean, what? It's just some books. I'm just reading some
Are you
books.
having...
What can...
Are,
Nothing can happen just by reading or hearing something.
Ronnie, have you talked to a doctor recently?
You mean a scam artist?
Oh God.
I think my car's just outside. Do you want to come with me? Like we can go to a doctor, get some lunch. You know,
You're gonna get lunch at the doctor?
well, we can get lunch, then go to the doctor. Try to figure out if everything's okay with you. Why don't you come with me? Doesn't have to be like this.
I don't really want to go to the doctor's.
Come on. She
Okay.
holds out her hand to you.
Fine. And I take her hand and I'll go with her.
That's not what I was expecting.
He's just like starved for attention.
Human connection.
Let's say he gets in the car
Yeah.
and he like sees that she's got Sirius satellite radio. And he's like, you know what? No, I can't fucking do this. And then he gets out and he's like, I'm good here.
Ronnie,
You're good with your surveillance
you're not
system.
doing well. You're not healthy.
I'm fine.
You're not.
I don't.
You're living out in a cave, Ronnie. You need some serious help.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I'm trying to help you all.
Ronnie, we can do this the easy way or the hard way.
What the fuck does that mean?
Look, we're all afraid for you, Ronnie. Your mom's thinking about getting you into an institution so you can get the help you need.
I'm the only one who shouldn't be in an institution. All right. And here we go. Oh God, am I really going to do this? I cast Dominate on my ex-wife.
Oh my God.
Read it for me, please.
Says, it bends the will of the target to that caster. For the spell to take effect, the caster must succeed on an opposed POW roll.
Yeah, your power is higher than hers.
Yeah. If successful, the target obeys the commands of the caster without exception until the next combat round concludes.
Yeah, when you're not in combat, I'm going to do rule of cool here that she's probably not going to be able to break free from this.
Yeah.
Anytime soon. This is going to be kind of an Imperio.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to do it, and I'm just going to say, just leave. I don't want to talk to you.
She gets in her car, closes the door, and drives away immediately.
And I just will probably break down and start crying for a little while in my cave.
Yeah.
Seems legit.
Because he really did want to go.
Get lunch.
Get lunch, yeah. He almost went to a doctor just to have lunch with a human.
It's fucking tragic.
Yeah.
Seems like Ronnie's life isn't going too well.
Right?
And in his mind, he's like, this is what it takes, for the truth.
The greater good.
Yeah.
The greater good.
The greater good.
The greater good.
So, Trixie,
Yes.
your research on the Karotechia continues. Weekending with, I was going to call him John, weekending with Jackson in New York and in nearby places that maybe you fly to sometimes or he flies to. You spend a weekend in Shanghai, London, Cairo, Hong Kong.
Needless to say, my life is going pretty great.
Yeah. Your time is always short, but you two always make sure to make it meaningful. Your love grows, and on a weekend that the two of you are spending in London, you've flown in to meet him this time around. You go to the museums, you spend some time at some very fancy restaurants. Generally is one of the best weekends of your life, and at the end of it, you're both walking along the River Thames, the Parliament building behind you, Big Ben, lit up in the night. And Jackson gets down on one knee and pulls a ring box out of his jacket and opens it up and says, Beatrix Carnahan, I know this has been a long, wild ride, but will you marry me?
Yes. I'm sorry. Finish your sentence. I'm sorry.
I think that's a resounding yes, though. And he gets up and kisses you and puts the ring on your finger.
Yeah. And she squeals with delight in a very she's a very different person than she was 4 years ago.
Yes.
She has much more balance in her life. Lots
She
more
seems to have gotten all the balance that Ronie lost. And you spend another few days together. It's wonderful. Again, you separate, just going your own ways again, but it's magical, and you're now engaged, and you get lots of congratulations at the office. They all know Jackson. He's spent some time with a lot of them, and just good friends with everyone.
Kyle's like, I get a father.
So it's at this point, Ronie, Do you have cell phones with you?
Yeah.
You do?
Uh-huh.
Trixie, would you let Ronie know?
I think I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Ronie, on one of your burners, you get a text. What would you say?
It would say, "Dear Ronie,
Oh my God.
I know we haven't spoken in a long time. I recently heard that you were living in a van down by the river, and it was quite sad. I hope you're doing better. I missed working with you. I'm hoping we can connect sometime soon. Jackson and I are actually engaged, and I just wanted to let you know, and hopefully you can be at the wedding. Just please reach out. There's, a lot has happened, and I think it might be worth reconnecting. I also think there might be some things we could research." And then I met my character total.
Yep. And you get another text, actually, from Jackson saying, "Hey, Ronie, I don't know if Trixie has told you the good news yet, but I proposed to her in London. I'd love to see you again, either to catch up, but I also, I have some information that I think is related to Peru, and it involves the Carlisle expedition, and I need to put together an investigative team. Let's meet on January 15th in New York if you're interested."
That's all the text.
Yeah.
I won't reply, but I will show up.
Okay. And Trixie, you get a call. "Oh, hey, darling.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, just wonderful. But I'm not calling. This is a business call, unfortunately."
Oh, but did you get a chance to look at those linen samples I sent? Because
I did, and I'm really happy with them. I sent over my notes to the wedding planner.
Okay, excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to the cake, though. That's where we get to choose. Yeah.
I think we made a good choice there too.
But you know how you've been having some problems thinking of the next project you're going to do now that you're finishing up with the Karotechia?
Yeah. I just don't know what to do. And I mean, Kyle's great and all, but he just doesn't really provide that sort of creative energy that Ronie always brought to the table.
No, I get it. He's a nice boy. He's just not there yet. Not old enough.
Yeah.
I might have something that might be right up your alley, and it involves Peru and the Carlisle expedition. I need a really good investigative team, and I think you and Ronie might be the best.
Ronie?
Yeah, I've
Ronie.
already texted him.
Did he respond?
No, but I'm really hoping he shows up. I sent him the address to our apartment, and I know you're currently out of the States, but we should all meet there back on January 15th.
Okay, yeah. I should be wrapped up here by the 13th, so that should be fine.
Perfect. Well, I'll see you there.
All right, love you.
Yep, hugs and kisses.
As soon as we hang up, I send a text with just that emoji with the hearts for eyes.
He sends it right back. And a gif of a hugging or kissing puppy or something.
Seems legit.
Something really sappy and saccharine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much, we are now caught up.
Can we do one scene?
Yes.
Before I go to New York, I want to go to my ex-wife's house just to say goodbye.
Okay.
And I don't know. Can you pause it real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I assume,
as the 15th approaches, what do you do?
Yeah, so I'm going to go say goodbye to my ex-wife because she's the only person I ran into.
Yeah.
And, I still I didn't feel so good about how I ended it. So I'm gonna head over there, and she's in the same house she's been in a long time, which is next door to my mom.
Yeah, you head to the house, and it was a nice house. It was one the two of you picked out together. Your parents helped you buy it at the time. It was for sale by an older couple, and You walk up and you knock on the door. And the door opens, and this woman you don't recognize opens it and looks at you, and it only takes a moment for her to recognize you. You're Ronie, aren't you?
Yeah, who are you?
I'm Shauna.
Shauna. Hey, cool. Really good to meet you. Is Rhonda here?
You haven't heard the news?
What news?
Rhonda, she died about 6 weeks ago.
What the fuck? What?
They found her in her car about 100 miles from here. She had plowed into a tree and,
What the fuck? When did this happen? How did this happen?
I don't know.
Where was she going?
She went out that morning, and I don't know. She was supposed to be home. I was making dinner, and I'm sorry. I have to go.
Wait. No. Hey. And then, like, if she's like trying to close the door, I'm gonna like push it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, I mean, I know this is probably hurtful for you, but like, man, like I was married to her too. Like, what? When was this? What?
She'd gone to see you that day. You didn't say anything to her. You didn't see any of this?
She seemed normal.
She never came home.
What the fuck? And then
I've got to go. And she closes the door.
I'm just like so shook. I don't like try to keep it open.
Yeah.
And then it hits me.
Yeah.
The last things I said to her was using a spell saying, leave. Just leave.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And that's where we're going to end for tonight.
Yikes.
4 years have passed, and we are now in the year 2025, January 13th. If you liked this episode, please consider giving us a review or a subscription. If you hate us to the very core of our beings, well, I mean, you can review, but we probably won't read it.
If you hate this place like Ronie hates himself.
Oh my God. Thank you for listening so much. Hopefully 2021 is a better year for all of us. Have a great night.